This is the WallE Show, and this is a lot of fun for me because I watched this guy on TV all the time back in the day on Growing Pains as Mike Seaver, and he is now an outspoken believer in Hollywood, making faith-based films like Fireproof and Kirk Cameron Saving Christmas. By now, that's the dead giveaway who we're talking about.
And it was Silver Spoons, by the way.
Yes, no, it was not. It was not Silver Spoons.
No, it was Growing Pains.
Yeah, Growing Pains was fantastic.
I'm trying to throw you off
show.
Balance.
No, you can't do that to me, my friend. So let me ask you this then, okay? So we'll talk about Growing Pains, and now you're doing like a lot of faith-based movies. Do you ever see yourself going back and doing something that's clean? Because you're not going to do anything outside of who you are, but that's not necessarily labeled as that faith-based element?
You should see the tattoo I have on my back. You never know.
Well, I doubt very seriously you have a tattoo. I will pull your shirt off and call that.
WallE and I were discussing strange tattoos earlier. When I go back and, it's interesting. I don't think there's ever been a day when I have just pined for another acting gig.
Okay.
Although that was so much of my life, I really don't miss acting too much. Having said that, would I ever go back if they did a reboot of Growing Pains?
Okay.
Would we ever go? My sister did Fuller House.
Yes.
Right? So I don't know, what would they change Growing Pains to?
I don't. Growing pains.
Yeah. Or if everyone's getting older, groaning pains.
Yes.
Something like that.
Like, because now you'd have to do it without Alan because
Carol, my back.
Yes.
Ben.
Well, Alan passed away.
That's
Alan
right.
Thicke, and so like when you were growing up on the set, was the relationship like between you and him like kind of a cool thing? Like, because sometimes you hear people talk about that, they're like he was like a second dad or whatever.
He really was. In fact,
Really?
I spent more time with my Seaver family than I did with my real family during a lot of those teenage years. And so Alan was like a second dad. So was Joanna, like a mom.
Mm-hmm.
And we all miss him very much. Alan was just one of those constants. We just didn't ever think of life without Alan. So now that he's not here, there's a big hole in the universe.
Has there ever been a conversation? We're talking to Kirk Cameron with now your sister Candace, who is doing Fuller House. Has there ever been a conversation of having you come on and do a role of some sort on that show?
We've not talked about that yet. Although I was in one episode of Full House.
Mm-hmm. Were you
That's
really?
Right.
Yeah.
The girls know this.
Okay, what episodes,
I'm
Becca?
the Full House. I don't remember. I just remember you coming to the door and everyone cheered.
I wish that happened to me. Like anytime I walked up to a door, people just go, "Oh, look at him at a door."
There's a big cameo.
Hey, I'll train my kids. You come to my house, I'll have them all cheer for you. While
I could use the self-esteem.
I came on as Cousin Steve.
Yes.
I think that's why I was Cousin Steve.
Nice.
So, yeah.
So you and I were both at a conference, and I had written a sketch, and you were in it with me and this guy, Bart Millard from Mercy Me, and he and I are in a movie together. Not important, but whatever.
I don't mention it every chance I get.
You were marvelous, by the way.
Yes.
You're barely in it.
Yes.
He hasn't seen it yet, by the way. Betty and I have.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and it wasn't even him. They made him take off his glasses. They made him 6 inches higher.
Yeah, they hit a stand on a box.
Yeah, and it wasn't even his
True story.
voice. They did a voiceover.
That's not
It
true.
wasn't your
That's
voice.
not true.
And they made him shave off his wizard beard.
No, I don't. It's not a wizard beard. It's an awesome beard, Kirk.
Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is. You're having a great beard day.
So thank you. So we sit down there, and I tell you, when they sent you the script, I was nervous because I'm like, okay, I watched this guy on TV, and I have to tell you, this is where I'm going to brag on Kirk. Kirk was so kind. Like, he was like, okay, yeah, cool, and he was working through it.
Is this a backwards way of insulting
No,
me?
not at all.
All
Like,
right.
you were actually so nice about the thing that we had, the script and everything, and you were like invested in it, and you're like, okay, well, what if I played it like this? And it was cool to see your mind work, and I'm like, well, I learned a lot that day from you, and it was actually really cool, because I was, seriously, I don't get nervous about a lot. I was nervous about that, you know?
But
So I
was
appreciate that.
That was fun, and you guys did a great job. I couldn't write a script to save my life. So
Kirk's like, what's my background in this? Well, he's like, you're Kirk Cameron.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, though, that he would be going over his lines, and we would all stop and go, what? Because it was so conversational. We thought he was talking to us. We're like, oh my gosh. And he got us like 3 times like that. I'm like, that's the sign of a good actor. So you killed that. So here's what I want to do. I want to do this here. And Becca and Betty want you to play along with us. I want to create a new movie for Kirk Cameron and myself to star in, okay? And we're going to brainstorm it right here on the fly. And we're going to do it 3
Perfect.
words at a time, okay? And if you fail to do 3 words, you're out of our movie, all right?
Okay, we need to bring in some Chinese food, because that's what real Hollywood writers do. They just
Exactly.
brainstorm over Chinese food
And it needs to
till
be
like
like
3
2
in the
a.m.
morning.
Yeah.
Yes. So what
Yeah.
we're gonna do?
I
This
don't
will
know.
be.
I'm talking like I know. I don't know.
This is the trailer for the movie that we're going to create, basically, okay? And we're going to create it 3 words at a time. And I think most movie trailers start in a world. So we'll do that as the beginning of In a World, and then we'll go to Kirk, and then me, then Becca, then Betty, and keep going around till someone's
Okay.
out. Are you ready? Okay, so I will start it, though, with In a World, and then Kirk, you got to pick up from there. So here we go. In a world where fire burns hotter than ice.
But ironically, not.
So, because one,
Kirk, don't get out of our movie. One.
man,
Agnostic Wizard.
Do you need one more word?
Oh, I have 3 words.
Yes.
One flamboyant agnostic wizard.
Played by Kirk.
Cameron.
I set myself up.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you kind of got owned on that one. You know what? I actually don't need to go any further. That is the movie.
Oh, great. My phone's going to be ringing off the hook now.
Kirk Cameron as an agnostic wizard. I would, you know what? I would pay to see that.
That's it. I think the Weinstein Company's going to be calling me soon.
Oh, jeez. Oh, man. Yes. Like Becca's eyes are about that big. Oh, man.
I like that you're making these jokes. That's
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what?
Only on the WallE Show can I make these jokes.
And I appreciate that you understand that.
That's it.
So here's the deal. You actually, it's not a movie-ish. It's Revive Us 2, and I want to talk about that because you did Revive Us 1. This is a sequel, and we'll get to that here within 10 minutes on The WallE Show. This is The WallE Show with Kirk Cameron hanging out with us today, and I really appreciate you taking the time to come in, flying all the way out from your Hollywood palatial estate.
Yes.
Lifestyles of the rich and
yes,
famous.
that is me.
Yeah, and so thank you for joining us. Now, you have Revive Us 2, which is the sequel to Revive Us 1. Besides that, have you done any other sequels besides the Left Behind series? Have you done any
'cause
other
there was
sequels?
there were so many of those. We did, no, not really.
Yeah.
We never really did, other than maybe a couple of Growing Pains reunion shows.
Okay. So what is the deal with Revive Us 2? Like, what are you trying to accomplish with this, and what can people expect from it?
Well, first of all, usually after a contentious presidential election, things tend to settle down. That hasn't exactly happened this year for us in America. It seems like things are even more filled with anxiety and tension than ever before. So we're divided now over everything. We're divided over race. We're divided over religion, over politics, over money, gender, choice. We can think of 1,000 things that seem to be dividing us in this nation. Add to that natural disasters, mass shootings, the threat of war from North Korea, the NFL. Do we kneel? Do we stand?
Kirk Cameron's making me sad.
We look at our country, and what we desperately need is for some people who have a strong faith in God and have who are brilliant and smart to talk with us about how we can find unity and a path to get there so that we can work together and begin solving these problems and move forward for the sake of our kids and the future. That's what Revive Us 2 is all about. It's a national family meeting for the family of faith. We're going to be broadcasting on one night, October 24th, to 800 theaters across the nation, live from the brand new Museum of the Bible in Washington, D.C. Together with me are some of my smartest and most faithful friends, Dr. Ben Carson, Ravi Zacharias, Johnny Erickson Tada.
Real quick side note, does she ever introduce herself to you as Johnny Erickson?
Ta-da!
No, she has
Okay,
not.
she should start
Ta-da!
that. Yeah.
And by the way, if you want to know how to pronounce Ravi Zacharias' name, it's not Ravi.
Yeah.
It's not Ravi. He himself said, Kirk, it is Ravi.
Ravi.
Like Lovey.
Like Lovey. No, I'll
That's
go with
what
Ravi.
And Alex and Stephen Kendrick are going to be there.
Oh,
and
that's
we're
cool.
going to talk about family unity, racial unity, bridging the gaps with politics and the economy and all these types of things. Because we desperately need unity and a way to bring hope and healing to our divided nation.
Yeah, because it's kind of a mess right now, obviously. But, you know, it's been worse in the past when, like, God, I don't know, destroyed the world. So the upside of this is it's not completely hopeless, and that, you know, we have the ability. This would be really sad if there was nothing we could do about it, but we have the ability to affect culture by living our lives out in a way that glorifies God. And that's what we should all be trying to do. And let the judgment and the politics, leave that to God. That's what God, he said, that's my job. Your job is to love people and love me. If we do that, maybe we got a shot at making this thing a little better.
We need to be salt. We need to be light, living out our life in the world, even if that is in your home as a mom and as a dad, even if that's you running for mayor and you're involved in government and politics. Maybe that is you at work. Maybe you're a teacher. Maybe you're a filmmaker. Maybe you're a radio host. Wherever God has placed you, be light.
Yeah.
I think the most important platform for that right now is social media, because you talk about division.
Social
That's
media.
where you see it the most.
Right.
Media and entertainment. We need more Christians, more believers in Hollywood and in the media and entertainment world, for sure.
Yeah, but not judging people on social media. Sometimes we use it as a weapon versus a way to connect. Like my big thing, we've talked about this on the show before. We're talking to Kirk Cameron. It's like, one of the best things you can do is take somebody who is exact opposite of you and they believe completely different than you. Maybe they have a different lifestyle than you, and go to dinner with them. Do that. Before you go pick it, you should be required to sit down with somebody that you are diametrically opposed to and spend time with them. And then at the end of that, if you're still like, I'm on the picket line, then go, have at it. But before that, get to know somebody. You might see them as different, and you might even see them different than the problem that you're arguing against, you know?
That's such a great idea. And that's why I want to have people, I really want people to come to Revive Us too. Because what we need is unity. What we often try to find is just, we try to unite with people who think like us.
Right.
And then we try to make some sort of lowest common denominator union with people who are not like us. And that often looks a lot like tying two cats together by their tails and hanging them over a clothesline. You have union, they're together, but you usually just got a cat fight.
Yeah, and sounds like you've done that before.
Yeah.
like that's an interesting analogy.
That was the same year as the tattoo.
Yes, exactly.
What we need is unity. Unity is really a miracle. It's something that only God can create, and he does it by bringing people together in heart and in mind, and that requires truth, and that requires love and grace.
And maybe that first step is just getting there and talking about it with other people and finding ways to do that. And you can do that through Revive Us 2, Tuesday, October 24th at theaters, 800 theaters around the country. So look for that. Is there a website
please.
where you can jump on real quick?
There is reviveus.com. Go to reviveus.com. You can punch in your zip code, your theater will show up on the screen, and you can get your tickets. Bring everybody you know.
There you go. And so it's a sequel to Revive Us 1. Some people have called it the Die Hard of Christian faith-based family nights.
That's right. I like to think of it as the Rocky of one night only faith
In both of
events.
those cases, though, we need like 7 more of these to really make the analogy.
I would love to do this every single year. The family needs to get together nationally every year and discuss the issues of the day and say, where can we make the difference?
You're going to have to do it about 2 or 3 times a year to catch up to Fast and Furious, though. If you ever want to pass them, you got some work to do. So, Kirk Cameron, thank you for joining us. I want you to hang out a little bit longer because I have a really fun game that I'd love to do with you next year on the WallE Show. This is the WallE Show with Kirk Cameron, who looks a little perplexed right now. I wish you could see his precious face. Last time he was here, we did a weird game with whipped cream. This time, we're doing something in honor of his Revive Us 2. Don't break that, Kirk. In honor of his Revive Us 2 family night gathering, I came up with a game, okay? One of the keys to reviving somebody is mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Don't freak out.
I was panicking.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that. But it's that transfer of air, okay? So Betty Rock has a series of questions. Becca's not in here because Becca's terrified of balloons. Betty Rock is going to ask a series of questions.
That's a whole nother story.
Yes, your name is your buzzer. You will try to answer the question. If you get the question wrong, you will draw a number from a bowl that will tell you how long you're going to inflate this balloon through the compressor, okay?
So if I draw 3 seconds.
Exactly. You get this. You're smart. And so whoever balloon pops first is the loser, okay? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, Betty Rock, go.
All right, so name is your buzzer. What item should you give to someone who you think may be having a heart attack? Aspirin or nitroglycerin?
What? Aspirin.
That is correct.
Yes! Okay, so now he has to draw a number out of the bowl because he did not get the question.
Oh, you get to answer, and I have to draw the number?
Well, if I get it right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got
okay.
it. I thought if you got it wrong. Okay, got it.
I'm making up the rules as I go.
All right, here we go.
What'd you draw?
10.
All right, 10 seconds. You got to inflate it. You ready?
All right, here we
I'll
go.
count it
Here we
off. 1, 2, 3, 4,
geez, go faster,
5,
go faster,
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're alive still.
Oh, that is
That does not
that
bode
is a
well for you.
gargantuan balloon.
Yeah, that does not bode well for you in the
No.
future.
Wow.
All
That
right,
is a
question
little
number
grotesque
2.
looking right here.
Okay, question number 2. Speaking of medicine, Ben Carson is not only one of the guests for Revive Us, but he's also a doctor. What kind of surgeon is he?
He is a neurosurgeon at
Nuts!
Johns Hopkins.
Nuts! All right,
All
draw
right.
me a low number, Rock.
Here's
Draw me a
hoping-
low number.
I hope
me
it's a
a
big
low
one.
number.
3.
Ah, yes. Okay, ready? This after that 10. This is nothing. 1, 2, 3.
Wow, he even counts fast. Did you notice that, everybody?
All right, question number 3. CPR stands for
Kirk.
cardio.
Kirk! Kirk, I
I
mean.
think I was in.
I'm saying
She's
Kirk.
gonna give it to you because she hates me.
Well,
Okay.
because I have a 10 already over
Yes.
my head.
Okay. All right.
Okay, what does it stand for?
He knows.
Cardiopulmonary resuscitation.
That is correct.
Yeah, Betty
Oh.
Rock. I asked that question of Betty Rock for about 4 years straight, and she missed it 15
doesn't
times.
mean-
I'm not lying.
Ooh, you want to tell him?
Oh, I'm so sorry to have to tell you this.
No.
In fact, why don't you look at this number?
Oh, why don't you look at this number? Okay.
15 seconds.
15 on top of his screen.
All right,
This
Betty
one's-
Rock,
it's gonna
count
be
it
bad.
out.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be a total of 18.
Okay. 1,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, dadgummit. I'm out.
Wow,
I'm out
look at the air. It's filled with tiny balloon particles.
No, that's asbestos. I think we should leave, actually.
You did. You blew a hole in the ceiling. I gotta do it.
Do it.
Ozzy. Go, 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 go. Oh, my word.
Oh! Well, Kirk Cameron, thank you for joining us here on the show today for the shenanigans, and also to make sure you check out Revive Us 2 in theaters Tuesday, October 24th.